This is a hugely significant landmark for ECA and for women's club football across Europe. We're really fortunate to have leadership in our chairman, Nasser El-Khalifi, and our ECA CEO, Charlie Marshall, who truly believe in women's football. And it's with this passion that they have also to drive women's football forward that we're able to put on an event like this and bring stakeholders from all around the world to be with us as we celebrate the achievements of our women's football strategy so far. So over the course of the next 2 days, we have been not only publishing our research in high performance, particularly around women's football boots, but we're also publishing some research on fandom. So we're looking deeper at women's football fandom and what's driving attendances and how we tackle some of the challenges to ensure that we can have full stadiums every single week right around Europe. In addition to that, we're also tackling lots of other key topics. So the financial realities of women's football is another area we're looking at. And we're hearing from some real visionary leaders, the likes of Jean-Michel Aulas, who has obviously been pioneering in the women's game, and his impact has been felt worldwide. So we're really fortunate to have such an incredible lineup of experts and guests with us, and we're thrilled to be having this event for the first time in London. This is undoubtedly going to be the biggest Women's World Cup ever, and you heard the FIFA Chief of Women's Football, Sarai Berryman, earlier on this afternoon talking about what a landmark occasion this was going to be. And we have an extremely close alliance with FIFA, particularly through the extension of our new MOU, which references women's football for the first time. So we fully support the work that is going on to deliver this record-breaking World Cup. It's obviously an incredible showcase also for the players who are playing at European clubs, likely to be a record number of players from Europe, I'm sure. And we will actually be travelling out to Australia and New Zealand to experience the competition and use it as an opportunity to strengthen our relationships with national teams and other stakeholders. Well, high performance is actually the topic of our sixth strategic goal, where we're really committed to investing in first-of-its-kind research to tackle neglected areas of high performance and medical research, and this is one of them. So we know that boots on the market today are engineered for white males. So we need to work closely with our clubs and our Women's High Performance Advisory Group to develop a study in partnership with industry experts to allow us to edge closer to this goal of making sure that every woman and girl is playing in football boots which are engineered specifically for her needs. Now, this is an extraordinary project that took many, many months, and we're still only at phase one, so I anticipate there'll be further layers of research and conversations to come. But it's great that we're having this conversation in the industry right now. There is a lot of appetite and interest in this topic, and I'm hopeful that together as an industry, we will be able to get to a point where in the very near future, women's football boots are accessible for all. So one of the reasons why we launched our Women's High Performance Advisory Group, which is composed of club doctors, physios, sports scientists, all working specifically with the women's team in Europe, was so that we could tackle topics like this. So we're looking at things like menstrual cycle and performance. We're looking also at ACL injuries. And we held a session with our High Performance Advisory Group at AS Roma earlier this year, where we were looking more closely with experts at the biomechanics of ACLs and even the situations which can impact an ACL. There are many contributing factors. And it's a priority topic for us. We obviously want to work with the global game to find a way to minimize the number of players who suffer ACL injuries, but also make sure that we are better informed when it comes to things like the rehabilitation and even the training and performance. Well, we've looked at all of the innovations and new ideas that have come to the market with great interest. But we are absolutely committed with working with industry and partners, and obviously, of course, our clubs, to find a way to make sure that every woman and girl has the opportunity to play in boots specifically engineered for her needs. Now, we know that there is no quick fix. This is going to take time, but we're absolutely committed to making sure that, as I say, we get to that point where this big ambition, this big goal is realised.
Yeah, so I'm a researcher in sports medicine, and I did my PhD on men's football boots. And since then, I was, curious to sort of delve more into the women's side of football boots, and I was told repeatedly back then that there's no market and it's too niche. So I was really happy to meet like-minded people at the ECA who also saw that there was an issue and a gap in the market, to sort of finally start a research project to sort of understand what we need from a data perspective to design a football boot for women. So we sort of split it into two different areas. So the first one was that we did 3D scans of the feet of nearly 350 top players around Europe, and that data was then gathered, and we decided to sort of put all the foot shapes into an average foot. And from that we actually found that it's not just one foot, but we actually have two sort of main women's football shapes that we need to cater for, and by that we can sort of cover a majority of the football boot market. So now we have data that we can hand over to manufacturers and quantify exactly what a women's football boot should be shaped like to fit a woman's foot. And then on top of that, we did data where we asked the players about the current market, what they want, what they need, and from that we sort of got an understanding and a united voice from these nearly 350 players. Instead of each of them sort of speaking up on their own, we gave them an opportunity to sort of come together and have a sort of a united voice on where the issues are and what they need changed to have a football boot that truly fits them. Yeah, that's a question for me as well, because as I said, you know, that's something I've been thinking about for a long time. But back then, you know, as I told you with my PhD, I was told that there was no market and it was too niche. And I think a lot of women's sports have been seen that way. But with the growth of women's football now, people are starting to see that there is a market, and that's where it gets really exciting. And we see this development not just with football boots. We've seen the kits, so the shirts and the shorts and the socks being developed for the first time for the Women's World Cup in 2019, and now we see the releases of the first women's football boots. So we're heading in the right direction. It's all very exciting. So a football boot, first of all, is shaped so that it has a really tight fit to the foot, and it should be, because you need to run around and change direction. So you can't just wear something that's loose as a normal running shoe. So having something that is not perfectly fitted to the foot will cause discomforts and pain. And therefore, these, based on our new data, we have the data to design a football boot that is truly fitted to a woman's foot. It will give you data on where the foot should optimally bend, and we provide information about what players like in terms of the most important features of the football boot, what studs they like, and where the pain and discomfort that they're currently experiencing is. So I'm an academic, and we base our answers on data, and we don't have the data on that. But if you look at it from a sort of a global perspective, we know that there's so many inequalities between men's and women's football that are contributing factors, like playing on less like poor quality pitches, but also things like wearing a football boot that isn't designed for them are likely to be factors that will impact the risk of injury.